a spellbinding moment to look at a gravesite and see the year 1750 something attached to American Revolution Army. Now, even deeper, to be amongst ancestors from that same period, buried, some marked, some unmarked graves. There's also a dedicated row for enslaved people walking up a hill I'm about to transverse at this moment. There was a person from the Congo, Ota Benga. Ota Benga, a tragic figure who committed suicide after years of exploitation as after several years, as I grope to find the exact words to not disrespect him any more than he was, but the European community had him in shows. They had him on display. They had him on display as sort of a wild being from a faraway place, Africa, Ota Benga. They even had him behind cage, like an animal, so that others could look at him in seemingly something likened to his natural habitat. Along the same vein of those who partaked in human zoos, which is a reality. Now, as I walk, I'll read a bit. And again, the wonderment of seeing tombstones, gravestones, some so old you can't even read anything, to be amongst ancestors buried here. Martha was born enslaved in Amelia County, Virginia, 1826. At age 24, she was sold to David Edley. Then there's Daniel Butler, born in 1874 to the formerly enslaved Royal and Mary Butler. Daniel was an exceptional student and valedictorian of his high school class. What an inspiration. The ancestors in 1874 and earlier were academics, scholarly, high achievers, working towards excellence and achieving it under the most extreme conditions of hate and degradation. Burials of enslaved persons from the founding of the cemetery in 1806 to emancipation in 1865, nearly all of the city's enslaved population was buried here. Let me step back. Being here is such a profound thing. Where that car is, there's a white car right there. where that car is. There's a white car right there. Okay, pardon. All right. A little skin touching this glass. But anyway, you can see the condition of some of these stones. Unintelligible. You can't even understand a year or anything. They're so old. Over 100, 150 years old. Ancestors, forgive me for stepping on top. I'm sure you understand the worthiness of your spirit leads me to want to share. And this is what's happening now. So old you can't even read what the tombstones say. But the journey is over here to Ota Benga. That's the guy from Africa, from the Congo, who was put behind bars, made part of the human zoo exhibition. There were people from all over the world who were unfortunate enough to be stereotyped and placed into these environments that made it seem like they were in their natural habitat, while kind of in a traveling circus atmosphere. Ota Benga. Imagine knowing of the guy and then walking upon this. As again, I said, I just left behind me the little mansion, which is the African American Museum of Lynchburg, Virginia. I just left out of there and I saw these stones and I said, let me crawl underneath this big chain. And lo and behold, Ota Benga, native of Congo in Central Africa, was exhibited at the 1904 St. Louis World's Fair as an exotic pygmy. 2 years later, he was displayed among other pygmies at the New York Zoological Gardens. After his release was secured by outraged African American ministers, he was brought to Virginia Theological Seminary, that was a Freudian slip, and college in Lynchburg, and was tutored by poet Anne Spencer. Although he made friends and adopted some American customs, he longed to return to his homeland. Nobody can blame him. He longed to return to Africa so badly. Kind of like some of us today. Treated so badly here. He longed for where the love was in his native Congo. He never adjusted. Like Kunta Kinte said, this is not our land. Let me read on. The advent of World War I and his inability to afford transatlantic travel made return impossible. Overcome by despair, Benga took his own life. On March 20, 1916, he was buried on this hillside. He was buried here. Ota Benga, worthy of research. Some of you probably maybe already know of him, heard of him. Put in road shows, world fairs. And then, according to local oral history, his body was later removed to the White Rock Cemetery. And next to him, born 1820, Higginbotham was enslaved. That's Squire C. In 1865, no longer. Let me adjust something here. Okay. He likely worked in Lynchburg's tobacco warehouses and factories. 1820 to 1882. You don't have to be a historian to know that in 1820, Africans of America were deeply enslaved, but with faith, inhumane, and hope, and lots of survival techniques on cultural, spiritual levels, so as to produce offsprings like us today, still standing strong, fighting the good fight by all means. Definitely, we are taking a trip to see the revolutionary soldier tombstone, and it seems as though the family, knowing no one could read the tombstone any longer, installed a plaque with plain language allowing you to see what was once on the actual tombstone. Hey, we can read this one. This person died in 1918. This person, born March 22nd, looks like, it's hard to Addie Hunt, 1846 to 1919. 1846. Woo! My hand just shook a little bit. Let that sink in. 1846. Whew, slavery all around. Atrocities. The Holocaust. Transatlantic slave trade. Enslavement trade. All right, so there you can see the small mansion that houses the African American Museum of Lynchburg, Virginia. I already had a live there, and the director walked us through every room. I'll be posting parts of that. But now, here we are, as promised, and this made me stand back for quite a while. Imagination. You're walking into a cemetery area, you can't read anything, and then you come across these two. Oh. Revolutionary soldier James Duffield, 1761 to 1835. 1754 to 1865. And then this says Daughters of the American Revolution. As opposed to Daughters of the Confederacy. So as imperfect as America is, I will admit, tenets of connection for all involved back then, unforeseeable future. No guarantees did any of them have for themselves or the lowly assemblance of enslaved persons, forced. But the lot we were given with the effort of any and all involved with any semblance or resemblance to freedom for all. Okay, we'll take a bit of that. Although the road to freedom for Africans of America is a lot more treacherous, a lot more foreboding, a lot more challenging in America. But daughters of the Revolution, thanks for not being daughters of the Confederacy, at least. Much respect to all here on this hallowed locale. Ancestors all around, Africans of America. This was their primary place of rest. Resting with all eyes open, still observing what's going on today. Keep that in mind, the ancestors are watching. My ancestor speaks, the life, death, and spirit of Emmett Till is the TikTok place to learn about Emmett Till through the reading of the manuscript, the book. My ancestor speaks, the life, death, and spirit of Emmett Till. As a traveler around the country, some of you may have borne witness. I make stops, as those of you new can see, at places that relate to the legacy of ancestors and the spirit of a people, especially during this Black History Month, who need to be enriched. Many books are getting banned in this season of a Floridian madman governor. So it's necessary that each one teach one, do whatever we can to keep revealing the history. Look at this. In memory of Nanny Leal Chenault, born 1858. Do the math, it's over 150 years ago. All right, coming to a close with the live. A lot more we can see here, the numerous, as far as the eye can see, tombstones of ancestors and seemingly others, possibly. Yes. As one was from Ireland and a part of the Revolution. Interesting place here, allowing one to sit while understanding who's being honored. As the live is ending, just one more shot of the African American Museum of Lynchburg.